And given his propensity to lie, let's hope Harry doesn't commit perjury, right? I mean, what are you expecting? But first, have you ever actually looked at the nutrition label on a normal bag of crisps? You'll usually find a complete chemical cocktail, seed oils, MSG, artificial dyes, vague natural flavors, and a list of ingredients that reads more like a science experiment than a snack. And then we wonder why we feel bloated, tired, and frankly, a bit grim after we eat them. That's why I was so interested when I discovered Massa. They're part of this growing real food movement, bringing back the kind of food our grandparents ate before snacks started being made in labs. Now, Massa's tortilla chips contain just 3 ingredients: organic, nixtamalized corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. That's it. So no seed oils, no mystery chemicals, just real food. And here's the crucial bit. And let me take you through some of this new reporting from what actually went on in court. Because this case is dirty, Tash, and Harry is relying on criminals. I'm not exaggerating here. Actual criminals, right? Actual phone hackers he is relying on in this court case. And I think it could end up being devastating for him. I mean, look at this headline. Prince Harry's lawyers accused of dishonesty, fraud, and conspiracy. Allegations include payments for sworn evidence and the deliberate creation of a misleading email chain. Now, Tom Sykes has reported that a witness accuses Harry's team of intimidating him. This is Gavin Burrows, who you mentioned. And he outlined pre-trial hearings are usually pretty dry affairs. There were some lovely moments with Catherine because she looked so wonderful, but apparently she'd arrived in her own car and this was her leaving Windsor. Watch this.
Move, quick, look.
Just effortless glamour, isn't it? And then she revealed a bit of news about George and Hurley.
I do not want to get tackled by George, but no, up to a certain age, it's great. You know, being playing sports like swimming at school is still very much encouraged. Actually being able to incorporate rugby into playtime games.
And the Red Roses were delighted. Watch.
I think we asked if Charlotte plays any rugby, and she said that she actually does want to play rugby, but she's not in school yet. But the 2 boys are involved in rugby and love it, and the game of rugby, what it brings to people, and as an individual, but also as families, is something that she's very bought into.
Look, I do want to get to that court case in just one moment, Tash, because there have been huge developments on it. But first, can we talk about Catherine and William, please? Because as Tom Sykes said, they did flood the zone with keep calm and carry on vibes, with Prince Harry's legal case spiralling into an intimidation controversy. The Walesers had a curiously full day of drama-free engagements, and it was just wonderful to see. We are on a mission to 700,000 subscribers, so I need you to do something for me right now. It is free, it is easy, it is simple. Just hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That's because over 50% of you watching this video haven't done that yet. And it is the best way to support Outspoken. We're totally independent, by the way. No big tech backing, no billionaires pulling the strings. And if you turn on the bell, you'll get alerted to all our new videos. Sykes said the Prince and Princess of Wales were both out on public engagements, with friends telling royalists the couple did not want to be distracted from their duties by Harry's controversial court case. Good on them. Obviously, this was in stark contrast to what was going on in the High Court, Tash, and this is incredibly serious and a huge contrast. And of course, Harry is heading to the United Kingdom. The case versus the Daily Mail is due to begin on Monday. Now, a couple of caveats. Do you remember in his previous case against News UK? Now, I was actually due to give evidence against Prince Harry in court, and I was prepared to do so because he's lying, and I was very happy to do so, even though it's never a nice thing to do, to give evidence in any type of courtroom, under any type of circumstances. But I was prepared to do it, and I'd gone through all of my preparation. And then on the morning of the case due to begin, Harry came to this last-minute settlement with Rupert Murdoch. And the judge was absolutely furious because the case was delayed, a huge amount of money wasted. So the first thing I'll say is that Monday morning is going to be critical, isn't it?
Harry is quite delusional. I believe that he behaves like an immature teenager that is still throwing one big epic tantrum. He's not listening. He is not listening to the fact that his father has made it very clear that it will not happen.
Absolutely glorious. They are our future. Prince William, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, returning to work in 2 separate engagements over the past 24 hours. And good Lord, they managed to put the drama to one side. But unfortunately, there is drama engulfing them. There is a reason why they have had to hire the country's top crisis management PR expert, and it is because King Charles refuses to end Prince Harry's dream of a half-in, half-out return to royal life.
He was there to give people a voice and to defend everybody, and yet now we're talking witness intimidation, fraudulent witness statements, all sorts of criminal activities that in my mind are slightly worse than phone hacking in some instances. So yes, this is going from bad to worse, and there's probably a very good reason why A&L are not settling. I mean, this could even turn into another whole lawsuit in itself with professional misconduct if, of course, all of these allegations are proven to be true.
Yeah, but the point is, Harry has decided to align himself with criminals based on personal revenge. And it's like, I'm sorry, journalists like me who actually always operated totally within the law, I would never have even considered doing something illegal, Tash. It's just not in me. Look, William and Catherine are really feeling it at the moment, even though they absolutely performed brilliantly on the public stage yesterday. And it is because of what Harry is threatening. It is. They have now had to hire this crisis PR specialist, and there is talk now of an establishment plot emerging against them. So I want to get into all of that in the second part of the Royal Uncancelled After Show. We're going to do it over on Substack. You can join Tash and I there at www.outspoken.live. Paid annual or monthly subscribers get first access to the Royal Uncancelled After Show every single weekday. You can watch with no advertising whatsoever, either live or on demand, and this is a free speech platform. That was difficult to say today. Free speech platform. I would love to see you there. www.outspoken.live. Dan Wilson Outspoken is your no spin, no bias, no censorship outlet for independent news. We have no big tech backing or billionaires pulling my strings.
I think it's just damaging to Harry. It's just embarrassing to him because yet again, I don't believe he's going to stand there and actually have any credible evidence. Their credibility is completely shot in this country, and I would be shocked if this court case actually turns into a win. So I don't think the royals need to be worried about anything that Harry and Meghan do anymore.
Well, indeed. I mean, this is the problem, though. His reputation is on the line on Thursday. Actually, number one, the royals don't want Harry to destroy himself because they're actually kind people and they know his limitations and they know how intellectually weak he is. But also remember, he does remain in the line of succession. He does remain the king's son. So they're also acutely aware of the potential risk to the British royal family.
The typical media outlets that we're so used to seeing inundating us, Dan, every single day, it seems, with more of these nonsense stories where they're designed to turn the public against the royals.
Yes.
That's what these stories
Well,
are
and
done
also,
for.
Tash, even more than that, and I know you've pointed this out for a long time, bounce the royal family and bounce the British government into making decisions that were not even agreed upon, like Harry's security, like King Charles opening the Invictus Games. But the mainstream media reporting these delusions from Harry as if they are fact to try and paint a narrative which then becomes difficult, in Charles's view, for the royal family to walk away from. So I agree with you that the mainstream media is a huge part of this problem because they keep on printing Harry's delusions, Harry's lies, Harry's madness as if it's fact.
No, I completely agree. It's enabling this stupid, well, stupid's the wrong word, really. I mean, as I said, delusional, I think, is the best way to look at it. But I think people that are genuine monarchists and genuinely support the royal family see through all of this. They see through it. They remind people of the incredible jobs that farmers do just by Prince William going there. And Harry and Meghan, they're just insignificant. I think that Prince William and Catherine don't even care about them anymore. I think that they are indifferent to them. The royals have shown that they never needed Harry and Meghan. They were barely there long enough to scratch the surface, Dan. I think Meghan spent longer, I think she did more engagements on the royal tour than she did throughout her entire career, that she was briefly part of the royal family. They're little more than just an ink blot in the history pages, Meghan especially. Harry only handled being a full-time working royal for, I think, 2 years more than until Meghan came on the scene. Bearing in mind, he only left the army, I think it was 2014 or 15. So they've hardly had a long-term royal career. And the brief time that they were there, they've turned the public against them. They've destroyed all public goodwill. People don't associate them anymore with being members of the royal family. Catherine and William and the King, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh don't need to keep calm and carry on.
But I'm joined now by royal YouTube sensation, according to Taz. And of course, Tash, I mean, we're going to talk later about the fact that Harry is very close to returning to the UK for this ludicrous court case, which is going to see him on trial in the stand on Thursday, which will be catastrophic for the British royal family. So why do you think King Charles refuses to just say, it's not happening? You can keep speaking about this half-in, half-out dream all you want. And what do you make of the fact that Harry continues to push it so brazenly to Us Weekly just days before this court case, which could destroy his reputation?
Well, I believe that Harry is quite delusional. I believe that he behaves like an immature teenager that is still throwing one big epic tantrum. He's not listening. He is not listening to the fact that his father has made it very clear that it will not happen. There's so much to unpack here. I think there is a large part of it where the king, he is still his youngest son.
Prince Harry's shocking return to the UK this January reveals just how disconnected he's become from reality. The Duke of Sussex thinks he can waltz back into Britain, testify in his legal battle against Associated Newspapers Limited, and somehow reconcile with a royal family that's clearly moved on without him. Let's cut through the nonsense and talk about what's really happening here. Harry's flying back to British soil in January 2026, but not as some prodigal royal son. He's coming back as a plaintiff in a lawsuit that's already devoured years of his life and mountains of money. He's joined 6 other public figures, including Sir Elton John and Elizabeth Hurley, in taking on the Daily Mail's publishers over what they claim are unlawful information gathering practices from the late 1990s and early 2000s. But here's where Harry's delusion becomes painfully obvious. He keeps telling anyone with a microphone that he wants reconciliation with his family, saying things like, "I would love reconciliation with my family. Life is precious." The royal family's response couldn't be clearer, and it's brutal. When Harry arrives to give his testimony on January 22nd, every single senior royal will be nowhere near London. King Charles, Prince William, and Catherine will all conveniently be in Scotland during Harry's visit. Palace officials want us to believe this is just coincidence, that these are pre-arranged engagements that just happened to coincide with Harry's return. Prince William and Catherine are supposedly visiting the National Curling Academy in Stirling on January 20th. Right, because the future king and queen suddenly have urgent curling business when Harry shows up. This isn't coincidence. This is the monarchy sending Harry a message that speaks louder than any official statement could. They've arranged to be anywhere but in the same country as him. If that's not rejection, what is? Harry's delusions run deeper than his misguided family reconciliation fantasies. He's actually pushing for King Charles to open the Invictus Games in 2027. Think about the sheer audacity here. This man has spent 4 years systematically torching his relationships with the royal family, making explosive allegations in interviews, memoirs, and documentaries. And now he expects his father to show up and give royal prestige to his pet project. The Invictus Games, while admirable for supporting wounded veterans, have become Harry's primary tool for staying relevant. Without royal endorsement, without actual working royals participating, the Games risk becoming just another celebrity charity event. Harry knows this, which explains why he's desperately trying to drag his father back into his orbit. Let's look at this legal case dragging Harry back to the UK, because it perfectly captures his current mindset. Harry and his fellow plaintiffs claim Associated Newspapers Limited engaged in unlawful information gathering, including hiring private investigators to plant listening devices in cars and homes, and accessing private phone conversations. A&L denies these allegations completely, but Harry's pushing forward with a case that started in the early 2000s. This lawsuit represents everything wrong with Harry's approach to life right now. Instead of moving forward, instead of building something positive with his new California existence, he's obsessed with relitigating ancient history. He's burning enormous amounts of time, energy, and money fighting battles from 2 decades ago. This man claims he wants peace and privacy, yet keeps dragging himself back into the very spotlight he says he's escaping. The timing tells you everything. The High Court case begins January 19, 2026, with Harry testifying on January 22nd. He's returning during one of the busiest periods in the royal calendar, when working royals handle their most important duties. Yet somehow, Harry expects his family to drop everything for his legal schedule and his reconciliation fantasies. This expectation reveals how delusional Harry has become about his standing within the royal family. He genuinely believes his family shares his reconciliation desires, that they're waiting for the right moment to welcome him back. The reality shown by their coordinated absence couldn't be more different. Think about what Harry has put his family through these past 4 years. The Oprah interview where he and Meghan made racism allegations against the royal family. The Netflix series that portrayed the royals as cold and calculating. His memoir Spare, which revealed private conversations and painted his stepmother Camilla and brother William in unflattering ways. Through all this, Harry insists he wants reconciliation. Real reconciliation requires acknowledging wrongdoing, showing genuine remorse, and committing to changed behavior. Harry has demonstrated none of these qualities. He continues positioning himself as the victim, the wronged party who deserves an apology, rather than someone who should be offering one. The legal case raises serious questions about Harry's judgment and his legal team's advice. While the allegations against Associated Newspapers Limited are serious if proven, pursuing this case so aggressively, making it such a public spectacle, seems designed more to keep Harry in headlines than achieve any meaningful legal victory. Harry's lawyers walk a fine line here. They're representing a client whose credibility has been severely damaged by his own public contradictions. They're pursuing decades-old allegations against a media organization with resources and motivation to fight back hard. They're doing this while their client continues making public statements that potentially undermine their legal strategy. The fraud allegations surrounding this case are particularly damaging. While Harry might not face direct fraud accusations, suggestions that his legal team uses questionable tactics or makes unsubstantiated claims puts everyone in a precarious position. When lawyers face conduct questions, it reflects poorly on their client's case and credibility. What makes Harry's situation tragic is that he had everything handed to him. He was born into one of the world's most prestigious families, given a platform to make genuine difference in causes he cared about, and enjoyed widespread public support, especially after his mother's death. The British public genuinely loved Prince Harry. He was the spare who carved out his own meaningful role within the royal system. But Harry threw it all away because he couldn't accept the limitations that come with royal duty. He wanted royal prestige and platform without the constraints and responsibilities. When he realized he couldn't have both, instead of gracefully stepping back and building something new, he chose to burn bridges and wage war against the institution that gave him everything. Now, as he prepares to return for this legal testimony, Harry finds himself more isolated than ever. His family will be hundreds of miles away in Scotland. His former friends and allies within the royal household have moved on, and his legal case has become a symbol of his inability to let go and move forward. The most delusional aspect of Harry's current situation is his apparent belief that this legal case will vindicate him, that beating Associated Newspapers Limited will prove he was right about media treatment of his family. But even if Harry wins this case, what has he really accomplished? He'll have proven journalists used questionable methods to gather information about public figures 20 years ago. That's hardly a shocking revelation that will transform public opinion about his decision to abandon royal duty. Meanwhile, the royal family continues functioning without him. King Charles has settled into his monarchy. Prince William and Catherine prepare for their future roles, and the institution Harry left has proven remarkably resilient without him. The monarchy doesn't need Harry, and his absence has allowed other working royals to step up and take additional responsibilities. This reality must particularly sting for someone raised believing he was indispensable to the royal family. Harry grew up as the spare, the insurance policy, the backup plan, but the monarchy has shown it functions perfectly well with just the heir and his family. Harry's irrelevance must be bitter for someone who once believed his role was essential. The royal family's coordinated absence during Harry's visit sends a clear message not just to Harry, but to the British public and international community. The monarchy is drawing a line. They're making it clear that Harry's presence in the UK for legal proceedings doesn't constitute a royal visit worthy of their attention or participation. This is significant because it shows how completely Harry has been excommunicated from the royal fold. There was a time when any Harry visit to the UK would have required careful palace coordination, security briefings, and at minimum, courtesy meetings with senior royals. Now, Harry's visits get treated like those of any other private citizen pursuing legal action in British courts. The legal case against Associated Newspapers Limited also highlights Harry's continued media obsession and his inability to understand why press scrutiny comes with public life. The allegations about listening devices and private investigators, even if proven true, represent standard investigative journalism practices used to cover public figures for decades. Harry's outrage at these practices suggests he fundamentally misunderstands the relationship between public figures and the press. This disconnect becomes even more apparent when you consider Harry has spent 4 years actively courting media attention for his own projects and causes. He's appeared on countless television programs, participated in documentaries, written a best-selling memoir, and leveraged his royal connections for commercial benefit. Yet somehow, he remains shocked and offended when that same media attention includes scrutiny and investigation. The irony is that Harry's legal battles have generated far more negative press coverage than any alleged surveillance from 20 years ago ever could have. By positioning himself as a victim of media misconduct, Harry has ensured that every aspect of his legal case, personal relationships, and business ventures will face intense scrutiny and analysis. His legal team must be increasingly frustrated with a client who seems determined to undermine their efforts through his public statements and behavior. Every interview where Harry discusses his family reconciliation desires weakens his position as someone irreparably harmed by media coverage. Every commercial venture he announces makes it harder to portray him as someone seeking privacy rather than publicity. The fraud allegations surrounding his legal team add another complexity layer to an already complicated case. When lawyers face conduct or tactics questions, it raises serious concerns about the entire legal strategy. If Harry's representatives face questionable practices, accusations, it reflects poorly on Harry's judgment in choosing legal counsel and his oversight of their work. These allegations also suggest Harry's legal case might not be as strong as initially presented. Strong cases typically don't require questionable tactics that could be construed as fraudulent. The fact that such allegations have emerged suggests Harry's legal team may be struggling to build a compelling case with available evidence. The timing of these fraud allegations is particularly damaging because they emerge just as Harry prepares to give his most important case testimony. If questions about his legal team's conduct dominate coverage of his UK return, it will overshadow whatever testimony he provides and undermine his entire legal efforts' credibility. This self-sabotage pattern has become characteristic of Harry's post-royal life. Just when he seems to build momentum for a particular project or cause, something emerges that undermines his credibility or diverts attention from his stated goals. Whether it's contradictions between his public statements and actions, conflicts between his privacy desires and commercial ventures, or now questions about his legal team's conduct, Harry seems incapable of maintaining focus on any single objective long enough to achieve meaningful success. The royal family's absence during Harry's visit represents the final nail in his reconciliation hopes coffin. By arranging to be in Scotland during his testimony, they're making it clear that Harry's legal battles are his own private matter, not something concerning or involving the royal family. This distinction is crucial because it severs any remaining connection between Harry's current activities and his former royal role. For someone who has spent 4 years insisting his media conflicts stem from his royal status and his family's press treatment, this separation must be particularly devastating. The royal family is essentially saying Harry's legal battles have nothing to do with them, that whatever media grievances he has are his own personal issues rather than royal family concerns. This rejection of any connection between Harry's legal case and royal business undermines one of his central arguments about why he left royal duty. If the media coverage he's fighting was simply standard press treatment of a public figure, rather than specific targeting because of his royal status. Then his dramatic royal exit looks increasingly unnecessary and self-destructive. The delusion emerging from all this is Harry's apparent belief that he can simultaneously wage war against British institutions and media while expecting his family to support and welcome him. He seems genuinely surprised that his years of public attacks on the monarchy, media, and British society have consequences for his personal relationships. This reality disconnect extends to his understanding of public opinion. While Harry may have supporters, particularly in the United States, where anti-monarchy sentiment runs higher, British public opinion has largely turned against him. Polling consistently shows his popularity has plummeted since leaving royal duty, and his legal battles are generally seen as expensive, self-indulgent exercises rather than noble justice fights. The British public, who once loved Harry as the cheeky spare who served his country in Afghanistan, now see him as a privileged celebrity who abandoned his duty when it became inconvenient. His continued legal battles and public complaints about his treatment only reinforce this negative perception. Yet Harry seems oblivious to this public opinion shift. He continues acting as though he has the same public support and goodwill he enjoyed before leaving royal duty. This misunderstanding of his current standing makes his family reconciliation expectations even more delusional. The legal case he's pursuing represents the worst aspects of Harry's current life approach. Instead of using his platform and resources to build something positive, he's focused on relitigating past grievances. Instead of accepting responsibility for his own choices and their consequences, he's looking for external villains to blame for his problems. Instead of moving forward with his new life, he's trapped in a cycle of resentment and victimhood. As Harry prepares to return to the UK for his testimony, he faces a stark reality check. His family will be absent, the British public largely unsympathetic, and his legal case facing serious questions about tactics and credibility. The reconciliation he desires seems further away than ever, and his reputation continues deteriorating with each new controversy. The tragedy of Prince Harry's situation is that it was entirely preventable. He had every opportunity to leave royal duty gracefully, maintain positive family relationships, and build a meaningful new life. Instead, he chose confrontation over cooperation, publicity over privacy, and grievance over gratitude. Now, as he stands on the brink of what may be his final major appearance in British courts, Harry must confront the reality that his reconciliation and vindication delusions are just that, delusions. The royal family has moved on without him. The British public has lost patience with his complaints. And his legal victories, if they come at all, will feel hollow facing everything he's lost. The boy who was once third in line to the throne, beloved by his people and supported by his family, has become a cautionary tale about the dangers of believing your own publicity and refusing to accept the constraints that come with extraordinary privilege. Harry's return to the UK won't be a homecoming or vindication. It will be a reminder of how far he's fallen and how completely he's isolated himself from everything that once gave his life meaning and purpose.